Definitely a good Friday. Right, YouTube? Leafs in Winnipeg for the second of two games. And what a game. You thought the last game was pretty fast paced. Well, this one was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But despite all the skill on the ice, despite all the speed, it was a goaltender's duel. Full on goaltender's duel. And I thought Winnipeg came out in the first and because they had that first game at home in a while, the last game where they weren't quite as good as the Leafs. They came out a lot stronger in this game. In the first period, although it was pretty even overall, I thought they still had the edge. But the Leafs hung in there and generated their own scoring chances too. But it was pretty even overall with just a slight edge to the Jets. But yeah, it was one of those games where a lot of really good chances and stuff that I thought anyways. But the goalies were equal to the task, and the Campbell story just keeps on going, and I love it. But anyways, the first period ended scoreless, and the only scoring in regulation came in the second period. Just past the 5-minute point, I think it was, the Leafs opened the scoring. And it was just kind of, they had some zone time, and we're just in the process of kind of resetting for another wave of attacks. And Spezza gained it kind of high up by the blue line on the left side, and he just kind of made a little back pass to Dermott at the point, and Dermott didn't, I think it surprised Hellebuck with how quickly he shot it, because as soon as Spezza passed it to him, he just snapped a quick one on net through a couple of bodies, and it beat him low on the blocker side. I think the Leafs are such a possession type of team that I think the whole Winnipeg team was expecting Dermott to take that puck at the point and then pass it off to somebody, and because the Leafs really play that possession game. But instead, he just snapped a quick one on net out of the blue, and surprised them. So that was a nice little goal there. A perfectly placed shot too. Then, just before the 12-minute mark, Winnipeg knotted things up. It was coming off of a line change. Riley had just gotten on the ice and then had to make a quick decision. He chose to pinch as the Jets were exiting their zone, which led to a 2-on-1. And then Kopp on the right side chipped a little low shot far side on Campbell after he kind of lunged for it. And there we had a 1-1 game. So as the game rolled on, I think the pace got even faster and faster. And both teams would take turns kind of bottling the other team up for a while and having some zone time and getting some chances. But again, overall, the game was just very, very even and so fast paced. There was a sequence in the third when Winnipeg had the Leafs bottled up for a couple minutes where Campbell made some ridiculous saves. And then after one of them where he slid across and got his left pad on a shot, he kind of got up limping again. I'm like, oh no! No! Because Freddie's still injured, but I don't even care about that, because I think Campbell's the guy now, and I want him to be healthy, right? So but he played the rest of the game without any further kind of incidents, so maybe it was just a little tweak at the time, right? Hopefully. So neither team could solve the other goalie for the rest of regulation, and then also in overtime, so it went to a shootout. First Leaf shooter Spezza scored on a little deke. As we all know, he's a dangler. Winnipeg, first two shots were stopped. Last guy missed. So the Spezza goal was all they needed in the shootout, and that got them the win. So, all four lines for the Leafs I thought were good on and off. They all had their moments where they set up with some pressure in the other zone, created some opportunities. The Leafs PK was really good. Unfortunately, their power play still hasn't come through, and now they're 0 for their last 25 chances or something like that. So the last 10 games, they haven't scored a power play goal, which they're saying their record is still pretty good over the last 10 games. It's like 6-3-1 or something like that. So without scoring a power play goal amongst all those games, because special teams have taken on such a huge role in hockey, it's kind of remarkable that they do have such a good record, right? So So that still is the only real area of concern in my mind that they have to address. But the power play chances they had tonight, for the most part, they looked okay. There was a couple times where they couldn't really get anything going, but for the most part, they had some good pressure and got some shots and stuff. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time. And when it does happen, it's probably going to be like, it's going to come in buckets all of a sudden, right? They just need to get that first one, and it's probably going to open up some good things for them. So, yeah, so not much else to take away out of this one. Keefe, Coach Keefe has been messing around with the lines a bit to kind of find the best combinations and the most effective combinations. So things have been changing around a bit, but for the most part, the roster is the same. It's just who's playing with who has been kind of an ongoing kind of shuffle sort of thing. So, yeah, but the biggest thing for me is the whole goaltending carousel. But like I said, I've mentioned Campbell and his attitude and his work ethic and stuff. And I noticed this not just recently, this season when he's been kind of thrust into the spotlight like that. I noticed it when he first got there. His very first game with the Leafs, I noticed like just his habit of tapping guys on the pads after every little stoppage and stuff, and you can tell he's always talking and stuff, right? Like, I just thought, this is a really good team guy. Like, this is a perfect backup goalie for this team, right? And the more I saw him play, I'm like, this guy could be a number one. This guy could be more than just a backup who plays 10 to 15 games a year, right? But I just never thought anything of it outside of that because they had Anderson locked in and he's been their guy and he plays a lot of games, right? So, but that's the thing with hockey, injuries and things like that. They create opportunities all the time for guys. And this one's kind of fallen in Campbell's lap, and I mean he's had to battle through his own set of injuries this year. But anytime he's got back in the lineup, he's still undefeated. He's 8-0 now with crazy numbers, yeah, and I think he's proving that he can make this kind of a two-horse show, right, or two-pony show, some sort of saying like that. But I don't think any more people think Freddie is the clear-cut number one anymore, right? I think that everybody's going, oh, there's a real competition here now. One that Campbell looks like he's more than capable of winning too, right? So, but that's a good problem to have, right? Two good goalies is probably the best problem you can have in hockey, right? So, big shootout win. They got the 2 points. Winnipeg got one as well, but as long as they get the win in the end, that's the main thing. And they're starting to create again a bit more of a buffer now at the top of the division. So as long as they can keep things going, things should be okay. So they've got Calgary back-to-back Sunday and Monday. So what an Easter weekend, right? 3 Leaf games. 4-day weekend, 3 Leaf games. I love it. So we'll see what happens when they go to Calgary. And Calgary's really been struggling, so hopefully the Leafs can go in there and kick them around a bit and come out with 4 points. And we'll be getting closer to the end of this season and seeing what exactly falls out of it. So until Sunday night, sayonara.